Hello YouTube, Kaitlyn here, and I'm gonna answer some of your questions again. Let's get it started. Sequoia says, I'm a closeted gay female and I'm not sure how to come out. I'm planning soon and I'm ready to, but I'm not sure if others are. Any tips? Wow, okay, this is a hard question for me to answer because I have not had to come out before, but I felt like this was really important and I wanted to give you something. Figure out who's going to react the best to this news and tell them first. They might be able to kind of form a little team around you so that when you go tell people who are not going to react as well, then you'll have some backup. Also, thinking about social media, if there are people who react negatively there, just cut them out. You shouldn't have to suppress who you are just to get the approval of friends or acquaintances on social media. And lastly, be kind. You want others to be kind to you when you're giving them this news. And so the best thing that you can do is to not fight fire with fire, but to kill them with kindness. And if someone has a negative reaction to you or to what you're telling them, don't fire back with negative things. Overall, just good luck, Sequoia. I know this is a really hard thing to do. Even in today's society where we are more accepting, it's still a big thing to go and, tell your friends and family something that they don't know about you. More power to you. Question number 2, Ed says, I'm also from Virginia and I was wondering what you like best about our state. So if you guys didn't know, I am from Virginia and I currently am living in Virginia, and the thing that I love most about it is probably the mountains. Like whenever I go to another state, I always end up telling people about how much I love the mountains and the hiking and the beautiful green forests. I grew up in an area that is still very rural. We were essentially 30 minutes away from the city and 30 minutes away from the total boondocks. As I was growing up, I resented living in such a rural area, but as I've gotten older, I've realized how lucky I kind of am. People who live in cities don't always have the opportunity to see the kind of beautiful nature that I have just taken for granted while growing up. Question number 3 comes from Andre, and he says, how can I learn to love where I live? I'm from southeastern Virginia, if that helps. So Andre, refer to the previous answer. Okay, no, that's not really that helpful, I know. So number 1, it takes leaving and being away from where you live for a certain period of time. It might just be even a week away, but you'll start to notice things that you really enjoy and miss when you're somewhere else. Tip number 2 is try to get connected. Sometimes the reason that you don't like the place that you live is not because you don't like the place, but because you don't have a very good relationship with the place. If you don't have very many friends in the area, or if you have the wrong kind of friends, or if you don't spend very much time exploring and finding cool, weird, unique places, then you're not gonna have a good relationship with where you're living. And number 3, accept that maybe, just maybe, you're not going to be able to love where you live. Like my hometown, there are a lot of deep wounds associated with it for me. And even though I know that it's a beautiful and wonderful and unique place, and I see its beauty, I know that I'm never going to be happy living there. Which is why I'm actually in the process of moving, as you can see by the boxes and total chaos behind me, and that might be something that you have to do too. Question number 4 also comes from Andre, and he wants to know, what city do you want to live in? So I decided to group all of my Virginia-related Q&A in this video for some reason. I don't know. My question for this question is this a realistic what city do you want to live in? Or is this a fantasy, if you could live in any city, what would it be? Realistically, I currently want to live in Richmond, and that is where I'm actually moving. I got a new job, and it's been kind of this process and a goal for a while now. But why do I want to live there? Well, I know that I really like living in Virginia, and I currently haven't decided a different state that I've wanted to live in. And so looking at the different cities in Virginia, I saw that Richmond was more creatively expressive and was bigger and was kind of doing more things, video and just creative related, that I felt like were going to bolster my career in ways that I couldn't do where I was currently living. Where would I want to live in my fantasy world though? Probably somewhere in New Zealand, I think. See, that's hard because I feel like if you asked me if I could live anywhere, I probably wouldn't pick a city. Like, I've pretty much decided that I don't really want to live in LA because it's kind of the place you're supposed to live if you want to be a YouTuber. I just don't think my personality fits there that well. I just don't want to feel like a meaningless ant in a giant machine. I like being in an area that's small enough that I can have some influence. I want to have some purpose and meaning in my community. And question number 5, Lauren Weber wants to know, what are some tips for going into junior year? Junior year, does anyone actually like junior year? Typically junior year is the year, whether you're in high school or in college, that you just have to get super serious about your studies. And for some weird reason, classes are always the hardest that year. Teachers expect the most from you, and it's generally just a super trying time because you're having to figure out and plan what you're going to do after you graduate. If you wait till senior year, you're like way behind the times. So my biggest tip would be to expect to work hard. This is the time when teachers are really going to start trying to prepare you for college level courses. Or you might already be taking AP or dual enrollment courses this year. So it's really important to use this time to learn how to study and learn in college because it's actually different than the way you learned in high school. But I would say don't let junior year be all about academics though. It can be really easy to let it become that, especially if you're an overachiever like me, but you've actually now gone through over half of your high school or college experience, so it's probably time to take a critical look at what you have done so far and what maybe you want to do in the second half of your experience. How could you improve it both socially and personally? Is there a club that you could join? Could you try to be more outgoing and make new friends? Just try to throw in some fun into that inevitable hardship of junior year. Bonus question from Mark Slide, and he wants to know, are you going to do some Google Hangouts? Yes, I am so glad that you asked this question. That is something that I have really wanted to do, some kind of live streaming something where we could get together outside of just Tuesday, Thursday videos where I'm kind of talking at you and have more of a dialogue back and forth. I've just kind of needed to gauge whether people are even interested in doing something like this. Obviously, Mark is interested, and I'm wondering if you guys, anybody else is interested. So tell me down in the comments. Plus, remember to like, favorite, share, and subscribe if this video made you smile. See you guys on Thursday.